What is up, my Lorcana Goons? Welcome to the Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin, and we're going to talk about some Lorcana stuff today. We do these market watches twice a week on Mondays and Fridays, so be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. There's been some ups and downs in today's market watch, so let's go ahead and get into it. Put down them Disney passes and pick up some Disney cards. We'll start with the pre-orders that everybody knows not to buy, right? You would think people know not to buy them, but unfortunately, people keep buying them. As you can see, the Chapter 2 Rise of the Floaterborn pre-order boxes have gone up in price on TCG Player. These were a little cheaper than, I want to say, 350, and right now their lowest listing is about closer to 400 now. These were cheaper than the Chapter 1 booster boxes, and over the weekend, a lot of sales happened for that 350, that 330 to 350 range. So now there's only one listing actually, and it is at 399. So that's pretty crazy. You goons decided to buy these after all, even though we've been saying for the longest not to buy the pre-orders, right? Y'all couldn't resist. The goons could not resist. I understand though, because there's such scarcity in product. It's probably going to be hard to get Chapter 2 as well. When you see that price lower than the Chapter 1 box, like how can I blame anybody for wanting to buy something like that, right? Like if you have the means, but personally, I'm just gonna wait to see if I can find it from an LGS. We also have some pre-order singles that you should not buy, like a lot of the new cards that have been revealed for Chapter 2. People actually put prices on them now, and I can tell you right now that this Arthur is not going to be $34, and Madam Mim is not going to be a $78 legendary. Never. Nope, it's not going to be that. So don't buy those, okay? And now we can get into the bread and butter, what I like to call the biscuits. Elsa lowering in price, going all the way down to a listing at $650 on TCG Player. This is from an unverified seller though. As you can see, they have a listing at 650. The next one goes to 698, but the lowest verified is going to be 750. So not necessarily 800 bucks anymore, but lowest verified is going to be 750. There is a sale for 750 on the 18th, and over the weekend on the 22nd there is a sale for 490. 490 was the lowest, but we don't know what the shipping was there. We can safely assume that it's not going to be anything too far off of this range, right? But also lowering in price is pretty interesting. No longer an $800 enchanted rare. I would say closer to the $750 range, just because there are people listing it for that low, even though they are unverified. There's people who are going to be making those offers. So I know people are going to take those offers, and on eBay, I'm sure that there people are taking those offers for around this price too. So Elsa, no longer an $800 enchanted rare. If this is a card you wanted, maybe you've been saving up some money for it. Maybe this is the time to get it. Maybe it might even go lower. You guys let me know in the comments, right? Our next card is going to be another enchanted rare that has dipped down in price a lot. It's going to be the Hades enchanted. This one went lower than 150 over this weekend, guys. We've been seeing this card fall. Where the Elsa, with Elsa being the highest enchanted rare, Hades being the lowest enchanted rare. I like comparing the prices to see like the highs and the lows of, like, I guess, the enchanted market, because all the other enchanted rares fall in between, right? And we can kind of see how Hades being so I guess not necessarily in demand like a lot of the other enchanted rares. A lot of the times the listings just get lower and lower and lower. All of the unverified sellers are the ones that have it less than 150, but there's a lot of unverified sellers is the thing with this card. So I'm honestly wondering if this is gonna ever hit the double digits. That would be kind of wild though. But we'll see about that one. This Rapunzel is hitting new heights. As you can see, a lot of sales are still happening. The gold foils have been selling for 120, which is basically very close to the price of that enchanted Hades. And if you go down to the lowest verified on the Rapunzels, we're not going to find a verified seller until the bottom, but they have it at $65. So no longer at like $60. These prices are climbing. And if we keep going, it just gets higher than that. 65 plus shipping, 66. So we'll go on to the next page, but it basically goes to 70. So it's slowly climbing, and I'm sure you can notice, and you can notice it by the amount of verified sellers and what they're listing it at. So no longer 60s is the base. You're probably going to start paying 65, closer to 70 for this card. Especially after this weekend, we've seen Amber make a huge impact in the meta. Amber Sapphire, Amber Steel seem like decks that are super popular right now, and they're just taking over on in terms of sales as well. Bell went up in price a little bit. This was closer to the $30 range over the weekend, and now it's a little bit over the $30 range. A lot of unverified selling it for $32, $33, but the first verified is going to be at 34, with the next person being at 35 right after. Going by verified listings, you're going to be paying about $34 to $35 for a bell now. I want to say last week they were lower, a little bit closer to that $30 range. A lot of the legendaries are stabilizing. The market right now is pretty interesting because a lot of the other singles that are not legendaries are going down in price, but a lot of the legendaries are either going up in price or they're just kind of like slowly gaining back their footing. You know what I mean? Like they kind of fell over the last 2 weeks and now they're kind of going back to where they were. But some of them are going back. Some of them are going back to the price they were at during like the very first day Lorcana launched. Like Hades, for example. Hades is now a $35 legendary. There's not that many listings. There's only 13 listings. Actually, sorry, correct me. A $37 legendary because there's one for $36.99 right here. That's the lowest verified. So I am going by the lowest verified. After that, the next verified listing is $40. There's only 4 cold foil listings left for Hades as well. And if we mark those off, we'll be able to see the price right now. But for the cold foils, I know there was a bunch of sales that happened over the weekend for about 45, 50, $55, and now there you go. The lowest verified we have for Hades is a $71 cold foil. Wow, that is crazy. Now I'm feeling bad because I got rid of cold foils for way cheaper than that. Look at that. That's wild. So 55 for a non-verified, but lowest verified, $71 for a cold foil Hades, guys. The legendaries are definitely retaining their value, and that's pretty cool. Not only the cold foils, but as you can see, the regular versions as well. Another legendary that is going up a lot is John Silver. This is no longer a $20 legendary, guys. You're gonna have to pay more than $25, at least 25, and that's being like generous right now because there's no listings for less than 25. This guy has it at 24 plus $5 shipping. Then it goes to 30, and these are all unverified. You want to talk about verified listings on John Silver? You're paying $34 right now for a John Silver verified listing. So your John Silver is no longer in the 20s, guys. There you go. And I said this last market watch. The reason being that Emerald is not getting any legendaries in chapter 2 that are better than John Silver. I'm sorry. Like I like Bell and I like Beast, but neither of those cards are as good as how as John Silver is. John Silver is gonna probably be used in most Emerald decks for the next couple of months of Lorcana. So this is definitely going to be a Emerald staple in most builds probably. And I say take that with a grain of salt, But I understand why this card is going up in price so much. This card was so cheap when it first came out. Everybody thought it was just terrible, and everyone was asleep. Now you guys can see like how needed it is in your Emerald builds. But yeah, the point is that John Silver no longer $30, and if we go to the foils, you'll see that the lowest verified is at $40 plus $5 shipping, $39, right? So you're probably paying about $43 for a cold foil John Silver, which I think is still pretty low right now. But we're going to see this trickle up in price for sure. This is going to start bumping up 100%. So cold foil John Silvers are going to be more than 45 or about 45, and the non-foils are going to be more than 30. And then the Maleficent Dragon. So these for sure fell in price throughout the last couple months of Lorcana, but I just want to point out that they're kind of trickling back up in price. They were less than 35, or around $35, but now the lowest verified starts at 34, and then you're going to start seeing them more for 36, 37, 38 again. Like I said, legendaries are kind of going back up in price. They're just climbing, or they're kind of like grabbing their footing back. They're leveling out back to where they were. So I would say like cards like Elsa and Maleficent Dragon, they're the lowest they're going to be right now for a while. So Elsa's still being around like $35, $36, but kind of gaining a little bit more traction over the weekend. There's just no product out on the shelves, guys. That's really all it is. There's no reprints. There's no second waves. We're almost done with October. There's about 1 week left, and we haven't had any restocks other than starter decks at Disneyland and a couple starter decks at Disney World. But so that's why cards like Stitch, Carefree Surfer are now selling for $45 on TCG Player. You heard that right. This is no longer a $30 legendary either. This card is now $45, lowest TCG verified, and after that it goes straight to $48, $49, $50. Look at that. Carefree Surfer Stitch, just riding the waves all the way up the market. This is warranted. It makes sense. You want to know why? Because over this weekend we had so many vendors at these huge events at Miami TCG Con, and then we had vendors at the Apex Gaming thing, and a bunch of 1Ks were happening. A lot of events happened this weekend, and a lot of sales happened this weekend, and a lot of vendors who had to go places probably unlisted their inventory over the weekend. So there wasn't as many cards on the market as there probably is going to be this week, but we've seen how many deck lists top, and we've seen how many decks are playing Amber right now, and it seems like almost more than half of every top like 16 32 chart has been Amber Sapphire, Amber Steel, Amber something. There's even like Amber Ruby decks that are making waves right now. Stitch and Rapunzel are easily the strongest cards in Amber, and probably some of the strongest cards in the set, mainly because there's not that many cards in the game to let you draw cards, and drawing cards in Lorcana is really strong right now. So I can see why this has become a $45 legendary. And if you want to go on to the cold foils, the cold foils are now about $90. There's only 10 listings for cold foils and 11 listings for the non-foils. So that's another thing too. That's scarcity. Like I mentioned, a lot of vendors were traveling this weekend for these events, so they just didn't have their inventory listed. But that's not to say that this doesn't warrant some of these prices. I think some of these prices are going to go down because holy moly, this full cold foil lowest verified is going to be $81. Shout out to Pit Gaming Co. For dictating this price today. $81 for a cold foil Stitch. So, oh my goodness, like I've said before, if you've been getting these cards, if you've been holding on to the Stitch Carefree Surfers, you're in your bag. You got bread. You're the bread in Stitch's hand. Whole New World going back up to a $15 super easily. This card was like trickling down less than $15, and as of this weekend, they've just been so popular that they're easily $15 again. Just want to point that out. Lowest verified 14.50 plus 50-cent shipping. Cusco's came down, bro. So over on Friday they were about $18-19. Some people just wanted to get rid of all their Cuscos. This person actually has 22 Cuscos listed for $14 plus 78 shippings. They completely shifted the market because they've just put up a bunch of Cuscos for a price that you can only beat if you're trying to give a huge discount. So this person listing, like I mentioned, a lot of cards, a lot of people didn't have their inventories listed until up until like Sunday. So as of yesterday and this weekend, a bunch of Cuscos were selling for lower than $15. So Cusco right now, you can get a bunch of them for less than $15 on CCG Player. I think that's a come up. That is pretty awesome. You know me, I love Cusco. I think Cusco should be a lot more. Some other cards that are going down in price are Tinkerbell still being one of the most expensive supers in the set, probably the most expensive super, but still hitting that $20 range. You can kind of find some for $20, $21 on TCG Player. Last week I did see some for $18, $19, but all those sales did already happened, but I still think this is pretty low for this card. Lilo Limbo. Let's see how low Lilo has gotten. Oh my god, it's so hard to say. Let's see how low Lilo is. $10 for the lowest verified from Fortune's Future. Shout out to you for dictating this price. After that, it goes to 10.50, but that's a German, and then there's so much unverifieds for 9.59. So maybe it won't hit less than $10, but Lilo still about that $10 rare. Not a $20 rare anymore. Half the price. This card though, Stitch Rockstar, has definitely gone down in price, guys. There's a couple listings less than $10 right now on TCG Player, and that is super cheap. I think that's kind of wild. In fact, let me go ahead. I went to my cart right now because that's kind of good. I think this card is so good. I think this is a super that should not be less than $10. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna definitely put my money where my mouth is. Add that to my cart right now. I like this. I mean, if you need this for I think this card is really good. I think this card can be used in a lot of decks. I think you can be very creative and play this in a lot of Amber decks, Amber Sapphire, Amber Steel. Like I was saying, Lemon Lime Aggro. However, that's what I'm saying. Like this should. So if you want to get this right now, I definitely think you should. Not financial advice, but if you're building decks and you want to complete your decks and you're missing cards like Rockstar Stitch, right now they're less than $10. That is so good. Yeah, we're gonna get waves and all these restocks that are supposedly happening, but we don't see them happening yet. So if you want to go play your locals, I think this is a good time. I don't think that card's ever gonna be lower than that. Just in time is now like a $2 rare. This used to be like $5 when the game first started, and then it was like a $3 rare, and now you can find some for TCG Player for $2, $2 verified. Simba Protective Cub. This card used to be like a $2 common and a $5 foil, but now this card is only a $2 foil and a 50-cent common. So another good staple that you might need, and if you want to fill out your deck, it's only $2 right now for a foil Simba. Foil Gantus, though, on the other hand, have been going up in price. So there's like a small little buyout happening with Gantu. There's none that are less than $20 anymore, and all the foil listings, there's only 10. All the foil listings start at 25 and up. So $25 for foil Gantus. Let's see if any sell today. And let's see what happens, because so one of them sold a foil Gantu sold yesterday for about $23, and as I was looking, so I want to see if any sell today. So we'll keep up with Gantu and see if there's like a big buyout or if that's the highest it goes. Some other cool foils, Gabby Swords being about a $2 to $3 rare right now, on like non-verified for the non-foil, but you can find a lot of foils for about $9, which is cool. So $9 for a Grab Your Swords foil, and then it gets closer to $10 actually. And then if you look at the verified listings only, after this first one, the next verified is $15. So we'll see what happens with these listings right here, but I do think Grab Your Swords is a staple in Steel that you're probably not gonna ever not play, right? So getting this as a holo card is always pretty nice. The Robin Hood is a cool foil that has been picking up in price, almost hitting that $10 mark right now, which is pretty nice. I like that for a foil super, because there's a lot of bad foil supers you can pull. So I like that. This is a good one. It's closer to $10. They've been picking up a lot of popularity, I think, in a lot of Sapphire Emerald decks and Sapphire Amber decks. We also have Jasmine, Queen of Agrabah. This foil is $8 to $9, going by lowest verified. But any foil princess is always good, except for Moana because she comes in a structure deck, right? But yeah, these went up a little bit. They were closer to $8, and now they're a little bit like $9-ish for the foils, going by lowest verified. The foil genies on the job are about $7 to $8 for the foils. These supers are pretty cheap. They're only about $3 to $4 usually on TCG Player, but the foils are about $10 going by lowest verified. So if you have a foil genie, these are about $10 now each. You Have Forgotten Me is a foil uncommon that is always going to be like $4 to $5. I think this card is so nuts. Whenever my opponent uses this on me, I just want to throw my cards off the table. I just want to flip my laptop over. You know what I mean? If I'm playing on Pixelborn and I get You Have Forgotten Me for all the cards, for all two cards in my hand, it hurts. It hurts my feelings. But yeah, they're about $5, so it makes sense. It makes sense that this $5 card is going to hurt people's feelings. It's an uncommon that's foil. That's $5. So that's kind of cool. And then Maleficent Uninvited. This foil is also closer to $5. These used to be a little cheaper. There's not that many listings either on TCG Player for foils on these. So very interesting to look at. These foils I don't really see very often, so they're about $5 for the lowest ones. And then I'm pretty sure after these sell, they're probably they'll probably go up. But yeah, $5 for the Maleficent Uninvited foil right now. Magic Brooms used to be $5 for the foils, and then they dipped a lot. But now for the foil Magic Brooms, they're about $2. Let me say $2.50, which is not bad for a common in Lorcana, right? So some of the common foils still carrying some of that price that are, that's pretty cool. A lot of foils that are staples in decks are going to carry that price even if they're common. And then I want to quickly go over some of the D23 sales that happen for the promo cards. These are the PSA graded ones. I don't really look at the raw ones just because I haven't really gone out of my way to check those prices out yet, but I'll look at those next time. But for the for the PSA graded D23 promos, we have a couple sales that happened over the weekend, especially with some PSA 10 Mickeys. Some sold. This one sold for 3,600. Another one sold for 3,000. I want to go over this Elsa though. It's a PSA 5 Elsa D23 promo sold for $2,500. That's pretty crazy. And I was asking my brother, like, why would that sell so high for a PSA 5 when the PSA 9s are selling for like 3,500, 4,000, and the 10s are like 7,000, 6,000? He was basically saying that the Elsa is so scarce, nobody ever lists it, so that he wasn't even surprised that it sold like that. And for that price, that's pretty wild. I don't think I would pay that much for a PSA 5, but yeah, I guess Elsa is just extremely difficult to find on the market for the D23 promos, so if you see an Elsa, guys, message me. Maybe I want it, But no, Elsa being very scarce is what's dictating that price. Nobody's getting rid of their Elsas. And then we have a couple other sales that happened since that last Friday, like the Rockstar Stitch right here that sold for $1,750. It was a PSA 9, so that's kind of cool. I am keeping up with these just because I did have one, and I want to eventually collect some of them again. So always very exciting to look at those. And then we could look at the Enchanted PSA graded Elsas as well. So we have a sale right here, 1100. This was yesterday. No, this was today actually. And then we have another sale from yesterday, 1175. So that's going to be the price. Now they went up a little bit actually. And then we have another one from yesterday, 1145. So some were selling for about 1,000 for the PSA 10 Enchanted Elsa, and now we were seeing it kind of bump up a little bit to 1100. So arguably 1100. You know, I still think that's still pretty low for a PSA 10. But now that we're seeing the Enchanted Elsa market price overall fall a little bit, it seems like a warranted price now. $1,100 for a PSA 10 version of a $600 to $700 card. Not bad, not bad. All right, guys. So thank you so much for watching this Disney Lorcana Market Watch by Lorcana Goons. Remember to not buy the pre-orders. Remember to subscribe and like, comment on Lorcana Goons content. My name is Kevin, and we will see you goons next time.